Hey, boys and girls, Scotty the Redneck Canadian back again. Welcome to my page, Scotty's Homestead University, where, I teach you how to do some cool stuff and try not to swear and offend liberals. But anyway, I'm out in the pole barn today. Check it out, man. I made some cool stuff for my guitars and made that out of like rebar and an old trailer, old yard wagon. Actually, the same old yard wagon that I made my pizza oven out of. So I'm still getting stuff off of that. Anyways, as you probably saw on my videos when I was like rescuing people in the Humvee, yeah, we had like the real bad ice storm. I'm starting to get shit cleaned up out here, like a little bit at a time. It's a lot. Anyway, when I started doing my, I think I'm gonna go off the grid because I really enjoyed living with no electricity and not having people bother me. When I started doing some experimenting about how feasible that was, I started looking at things and where all my electric usage was going, and I downloaded the Power Co-ops app. And the day that I came back up here, because I went downstate to work on that house to get rid of it down there, like I used like almost 50 kilowatts of power. I'm like, whoa, how is that even possible? Because everything was off, right? Because when I left, like there was still no power. Everybody was out of power. Well, I got to the bottom of that. And then in the last couple of days, everybody was getting their power bills from back then, and everybody's throwing a big fit because their power bills like went up. And they were like, what the hell? I didn't have freaking power for like 4 days or 7 days. And one of the biggest culprits that I found, why I was using so much power. And honestly, mine had been going up and up for a long time. And I could never figure out why. I'd go to the electric company and be like, well, did you have increases? No, your consumption's going up. I'm like, man, that just didn't make sense. And, because I'm me, I was not going to let it go. Anyway, so, yeah, one of the biggest issues was I had not, because I had a bunch of craziness going on in my life, maintained a hot water tank up front. So I'd made a post on one of the community websites that like the Power Co-op's not ripping you guys off or us. It's our own fault, and here's the reasons why. So that you can watch that one. It's on my channel. But today, so then some people were like, well, how do we deal with these hot water tanks? And like, dude, there's tons of lime. Like my place isn't even the worst. You go over there by Afton, Michigan, and it's like horrible over there. So some people were like, well, how do we deal with the hot water heaters? So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're out in the pole barn. This one I know isn't going to be bad because I designed it when, I used to have to go downstate for the kids or for work for weeks at a time. So I actually designed this so I can just pop the plug on it and let it drain. So this one got drained regularly. The one up front didn't. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to drain it, how to pull the elements out of it, how to clean the elements, put it all back together. So if you got a hot water tank that just doesn't work, we'll also go through the thermostats. But anyways, all right, let's get to it. All right, before we start, stuff we're gonna need. In this case is a 1/4 inch. You're gonna need to get these two panels off. This is where your thermostats and elements are, okay? Could be a Phillips screwdriver. It could be a flat screwdriver. It could be a 1/4 inch. Oh, just need some way of getting these two screws up, all right? You're gonna need an element wrench and then something big like this, Coda-Bear. I'm not down here to help you, or to pay. Come on, no, get. Come on, go lay down. Go lay down. Anyway, you're gonna need like an element wrench. They're like $7 at Lowe's, Home Depot, buy one off Amazon, I don't know. And then something to go through it so that you got some leverage, all right? Come on, go. You need a multimeter. You really don't need a multimeter if you understand electricity, but you're probably gonna want a multimeter just to make sure that the breaker that you switch off is the correct breaker. Because if you don't, you might have an exciting day. All right, in this case, I need a wrench because this came out of the marina and it got bent at some point, my handle, so it was useless. So I just use a wrench. Then you're probably going to want a hose that's going to take this water away somewhere. So in this case, I actually thought about things beforehand. I put the hot water tank here and it goes right to a drain in the floor right there. So I'm not going to worry about it, which is good for this particular video because you're going to see the water come out of here. There shouldn't be crap that comes out of this one because I pretty regularly drained it. So anyway, first thing we're going to do, take these off. All right, we got the covers off. Now we're going to use our multimeter. We want it on AC voltage. Since this is a 220 volt, we want to set this on 750. Okay, we're just going to make sure, and I already know that the breakers are off, but just to make sure and to show you. So we're going to go here and here. And I got a 0. We're going to go here and here. I got a 0. We're gonna have zeros. You go with the red and the black. All right, we got zeros, so we're good. And then if you wanted, you could take a wire and touch one to the other and make sure that there's no fireworks, but we're good here. All right, now what we're gonna do, ouch, getting old, is we're gonna undo our drain. Okay, the water pressure is still on right now, all right? You want the water pressure on, you want it to be going to a hose in case there's an obstruction. In this case, I know there's no obstruction, so I'm gonna go turn the water on. If you haven't done this in a long time, or it's never been done, this may not flow. And if this doesn't flow, which is the case in my other hot water heater, it barely flowed at all, okay? If that's the case, then we're gonna have to do something different. But this is like, okay, everything's good, we're flowing. We got good clean water coming through it. So we shut the water off. Now at this point the water is off, okay, so you can see the pressure is slowly starting to go down. I opened up the tap. You want to open up your taps so that we can get this thing as empty as possible, because what will happen is you'll end up with a vacuum inside of it and it won't all drain out, okay? So we're going to come back. This is like a 40-gallon tank, so this is going to take a little bit. Most of the water is drained out of this. It's still draining a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the wiring off of these elements. You need a Phillips screwdriver, most likely. Just back these little screws off. Pull the wires off. Come on, Coda, out. Go. Go lay down. And there we go. Do that on both elements. Move the booty. It really does not matter when you put them back in which side is which. It does matter which element is which though. So if you've got a small tank, likely it has only one element in it. This one's gonna be a 3,000 watt element. This one's gonna be a 1,500 watt element. If you get a small tank, it's likely it only has a 1,500 watt element. It's important if you're gonna change your elements out to know if you got 110 watt or 240. A 240 element will work in a 110, 120 element, sorry, 110, 240, 220, it's kind of interchangeable. But a 220/240 will work in a 110/120, but the other way around, you'll blow it up, okay? Same, like a thermostat for 2, you cannot use this thermostat just for that, okay? I mean, you can, but it's not right. All right, so this is almost done draining. We're gonna take our element wrench now, and we're gonna pull this top element. The fuck do I lose stuff right in front of me? Oh, right here. All right, we still got a little draining, but it's been draining for a while, so I'm pretty certain that this one is, that it's below this element. So we're gonna put our wrench here, put our little pry, there it is, just like that. These are usually not real hard to get out because, you know, they're constantly firing up and cooling down, firing up and cooling down. So, yeah, that's a problem. This one's not horrible. The one and the other one was completely caked right to the end. So, but anything like that, that scale that's on there is going to act as insulation. So, set that aside, or we'll stick it back in there so we don't mix them up. Because there is a difference. Anyway, we're gonna let this drain and see what the other one looks like, and then we're gonna inspect. So the bottom of the tank is actually here, right? So we're gonna wait till this is completely drained. If this was plugged, then you're gonna have to open it up from the top and siphon it, and then probably pull this bottom one once you get it siphoned, or pull this one, and then, like, yeah, it's gonna be a cluster. That's what I had to do with the other tank. That's why I took it outside. Luckily, it wasn't as big a tank. But yeah, what I did was I used the pressure relief valve on the other one, is up here, and I got the water out as far as I could with that. And then I pulled the pressure relief valve out, and I used a hose and siphoned the rest of it from where the hole in the pressure relief, the hole in the side where the pressure relief valve went. So I don't remember where the pressure relief valve, oh, there it is, right here on this one. So that's what I did on the other one, was I actually went in through this hole and siphoned it all as much as I could out. So, all right, we're gonna let this go. All right, we are done draining. I'm gonna take this one out. And we'll just touch tougher. See what we got. Ah, this one's got some lime on it. There we go, right? So we're gonna clean these up. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing in there, because like I said, this one gets flushed pretty regularly, and then it gets filled, and I'd have a party and fire it up, and yeah, everything's usually pretty good with it. So, all right, we'll go get the stuff and clean these up. Zep is what we're gonna use. That's the best stuff. Okay, to clean these, we're going to use something called Zep, which is on Amazon. I think these were like $4 or $5. Comparable, like that's a quart. CLR, I think, is about $15. So anyway, you can see on there. There it is. I don't know if I'll focus in on that, but if you haven't done this in a long time, on these elements, which you will be able to see with them in the hot water tank, are what they are. This one says they're 3,500 or 4,500 at 240. All right, so we are going to you see that's reacting already. So we got our elements cleaned up, or we get new elements. We're gonna screw them back in. I got the bottom one in. Not too tight. You want to make sure your hot water tap is open. Otherwise it's going to trap it in there, the air. And that would be a really bad thing, okay? So we're just gonna let it go until the water comes out. When the water comes out of there. There we go. Starting to squirt out, and you get a good squirt. You're good there. All right. Now, because all my stuff is like right here, and this is out in my pole barn, and I'm a redneck and whatever, I know that this is full, but you really want to check. You pull this thing open just for a second, and it'll come out the pressure relief valve. And then you know the water's up here, because if there's not water where these elements are, I alluded to that earlier, you're gonna blow them up. Like in a millisecond, you're gonna burn them up. All right? Okay, so we got enough water. We know we're full. We're gonna reattach our wires. Like I said, some of these have like a 1500 on the top and a 3500 on the bottom. I don't know why this one's got two 3500s, but I don't know. Maybe some redneck like Scott replaced them. I don't know. With the wrong one day, and was gonna go back and fix them and forgot. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, 7,000 watts. Oops. That's gonna do a little damage on the power bill when you fire them up and you're just heating up a bunch of line, which is what happened. All right. All right, so we're good to go. I'm gonna go trip the breaker on to make sure that it works. I probably should have had it like that. Anyway, you see I put the damn wires back on. All right, you can hear them hissing. My butthole is puckering because now that I know that this is like 7,000 watts, I'm gonna go turn it off. So, all right, just put these back where they belong. Good job. Hope this saves you some money. Hopefully it will. Hopefully you don't have to do what I did with the other tank, because yeah, that would suck if it was in a house and you had to do that. It would really suck. All right, keep your sticks on the ice.